Well, hello to all you wisdom walkers out there. This is Jojo Maria and Saroma coming to you with another edition of Wisdom Walk Talk. And this is my pre-show. And I am so happy this evening to have one of the three long-term friends that I have been knowing and loving on for over 20 years be on the show. And so tonight, my very special guest is Miss Queen Quanita Roberson. Hey, Q.
Hello, it's so good to be here with you. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I know. Like when I first started doing Wisdom Walk, and I forget what I even called it now, because now I call it Wisdom Walk Talk. But I can remember how nervous I was and, just like, oh my God, how's this going to happen? What am I going to do? And all this stuff.
Yes.
And
I
so
even for you for a couple times. And then I was all nervous. Like, what am I going to do? Yes.
And it was that Carmen Ray that said, people need to see your face, Joe Japan. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? She's like, yeah, they need to see your face. And I'm just like, oh my God. Now I got to do YouTube.
Oh, but what a blessing,
It is.
And I'll just say one more thing. My grandma was your number one fan before she transitioned. So it seems like if I'm here, I got to bring her in and call her. I know you do it, call it in the ancestors, but she want to come in early.
I'm definitely going to be calling the ancestors in.
Yes.
Well, my theme music, which was different this week, so timing wise, has stopped. And so we can start the show in earnest with good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojo Maria and Saroma. And as you may have just heard Queen Quanita talking about the ancestors, her grandmama, who was my biggest fan, even before Miss Sarah, that had Quanita have to come and hook her up so that she could listen to the show. So that's an intro to saying right now it is time for us to honor the ancestors. As always, I start with my teachers, Mali Domas of Bonfu Some, of Burkina Faso, West Africa, land of the proud ancestors. And I invite all of you to think about who are those people whose shoulders you are standing on, the people who came before you, that you would like to reach out to and connect with at this time. And do so, you can speak their names aloud and join me as I share this invocation. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is, may the ancestors hear our prayers. Ancestors, we call out to you as we close out the first half of 2024 and ask you to enable us to live our personal renaissance more deeply by remembering and enacting upon our higher purposes during this auspicious and landmark mineral year. Grant us access to our higher timeline where we know that what we are seeking is seeking us. Give us the strength and courage to continue to accept and embrace this new age and new earth consciousness, daring greatly to live out our new narratives and knowing that these are divinely scripted for ourselves and for our world. And most importantly, ancestors, continue to enable us to move forth from the dark ages of modernity by placing our heads below our hearts, valuing people over profits, and always choosing love over fear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Ashe aho asa ashinga bismillah. And so it is. Yes. So, Wisdom Walkers, this is the third of 3 live interviews I chose to do this month to connect with my sister queens. And this here is Miss Sister Queen Quanita Roberson, who I just realized, that's how crazy I've been today. I forgot to print out your bio, but thank God for our phones that give us access to everything we need.
Yes, the tip of our fingers.
So let me pull this up very quickly. And here it is. Here we go. Here we go. Da, 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 da. Okay. So open it up for me. Come on, make it big so I can read it. Make it big. It's me and Henri. Hold on. I know how to get it. So while I'm waiting to give your bio, Queen Quanita, please share with the audience where you are hailing from.
Yes. So my feet are on the ground right now in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm just in such a wonderful place to be in this conversation with Jojo Pa. I was in Indianapolis earlier today and drove home and got to have some rest and restoration after, lots of work. And so I'm just like, how oftentimes like you don't even know you're as tired as you are until you stop. And so being able to just stop and rest and feel myself again has been really wonderful.
Beautiful.
And so grateful to be here with you, Jojo Pa.
It is such a pleasure. We just blessed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We are just so blessed. So, bam. Now I have it. God is good all the time. So it's big so I can read it. So here is a little bit about Queen Quanita for you, my dear wisdom walkers. Quanita Roberson is an author, a storyteller, life coach, a master teacher, facilitator, an international public speaker, and the devotee of spiritual and emotional intelligence. Quanita is highly skilled and respected for helping human service professionals, including clergy and those in law enforcement, who you were just working with yesterday, to address and move beyond embedded trauma. As a true water person, according to the Dagara Medicine Wheel, Quanita has the amazing gift and responsibility to reconcile the irreconcilable. Over the past 20 years, with healing and transforming embedded pain as her fundamental goal, Quanita has provided a plethora of workshops, retreats, and indigenous-informed rituals on adult initiation rites, grief, women's healing, new thought leadership development, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Quanita holds a master's degree in organizational management and development with a concentration in integral theory, Ken Wilber's claim to fame. And this was from the Fielding Institute, a very noted place that was jumps ahead of what's now called virtual learning. They were one of the leaders in that. She has also had the privilege of studying with and or being mentored by some amazing elders, including Sobonfu Somé and yours truly, Jojo Pa Maria and Saroma, keepers of ancient indigenous wisdom from the Dagara tribe of Burkina Faso, West Africa. Also, Fanshan Shur in embodying creative leadership through growth in motion, and Peter Block, Christina Baldwin, and Anne Linnea of the Circle Way. Quanita currently lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, with her 2 children, and she is deeply inspired by the Ohio River and the powerful stories of African American freedom that were birthed there. Quanita, welcome back to
Oh,
Wisdom Walk Talk.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. You know, it's so strange to hear, kind of when you're just doing the work and in it, it's something to hear someone speak about, okay, what you've done. It just, at least for me, it is, and I'm just so grateful that, that people keep inviting me in,
Oh,
you
well,
know? Uh,
you so deserve it. And I'm going to invite you in to share the quote that I pulled from
yeah,
your wonderful blog site on nzuzu.com.
yes.
And I would so love for you to read this to the audience.
All right. It is time. I feel the knock at my soul. It is time. Time to leave behind what I believe to be true, to be possible. Time to step out on faith, mine, and the ones who have gone before me. Time to see more, hear more, love more, be more. Time to return to who I really am, who I have always been. Time to remember that I have wings, to remember that the way has always been made, to remember that I am love, to remember that I was divinely and humanly created for this journey. I feel the knock at my soul. It is time. You're muted, Jojapa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, this is almost like playing piano, but I ain't practiced where the keys are, you know.
Yeah,
When I have to shift up the view and shift up the slide,
all the stuff. Yes, yes.
But
Oh
that
my
is so
God.
beautiful. And I chose that poem. I wanted to share that out because to me it's just so in alignment with the collective commitments for this year, which I'll share right now very quickly again. So folks, we started off with believe, using your imagination to accept and hold on to your dreams of happy endings in life, and how important the use of our imagination is in this, especially now. Also healing, and especially from the ancestral wounds, because they don't need us to repeat their journey. They want us to heal from it. And there is this year this emphasis on the ancestral wounds of what was done to oppress, marginalize, stereotyped, and villainize people. Next, it's about moving forward, but this is from the inside out. New opportunities, people, and experiences will become more aligned to your authentic self, and you will have more challenges and adversities resolve more easily and effortlessly. And then it's so about your job is not your purpose, because we are here to live on purpose. And your job can be an expression of your purpose, but it's so much more than that. And for those of us who are aging and moving into what I call refirement, not retirement, you may retire from a job, but you never retire from your purpose. And then last but not least, probably my most favorite one commitment this year is about going beyond. Now is the time to experience the more of who you truly are. This year, we can continue to choose to go beyond the borders of our trauma and step onto a new unknown path of fulfillment, joy, and happy endings. Ashe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Quanita, 2024, girl.
Yes.
2024. Talk to us about what this year has brought to you, has been for you, whatever you care to share about what's gone on for the first 6 months of 2024.
Yeah. First, and you and I have talked a lot about this, is that there's been a lot of just grief, and I think it is tied to the things that you talked about, Jojo Pa, about the belief. It's like to step into a new belief system, you have to let go of the old belief system. And so there's been that grief that's been coming. I mean, I'm pretty watery anyway, but I have been, just really in this deep grief. And one of the things you and I were speaking a little bit about yesterday is I realized so much of it is the brokenheartedness. So much of it is like, again, until we really let go and grieve that. And that comes up in different ways for me. It comes up in the grief, it comes up in the anger, it comes up in frustration. I notice myself like getting really testy with people at times. And it's just the needing to slow down and do some of that grief work and that healing and the release, and that shows up in all kinds of weird ways sometimes. It's like, even today, when I came home, I need to go through my like medicine cabinet and get rid of all the crap that's old and that I don't use and don't need, like, to make room. It's like it shows up in this tangible and intangible ways,
right,
of release and letting go. And just as I'm talking to other people, hearing it from other people, how much they're just like in they're exhausted and they're grieving. I've had lots of people come through and visit me at my house this year, which I'm used to having. I used to have lots of people coming through my home, and I haven't in a while, but I've noticed there's been kind of this steady stream, and all the people who've been coming, they've just needed to rest. And so just noticing that theme, and I love you have this piece about believe and heal, because I think that one of the things is we can't, like, some of us can't even imagine like a place where we're healed, a place where we don't have the pain and wounds. We've just taken it as life and given. And it's hard to bear witness to that too.
Yeah.
The people that you love and care about, and it's hard to remember that we're connected. And that as I do my own healing work and as I lean into that of course it affects the people who are a part of my life and that I love and care about. It's been one of the things that has shown up for me this year is family members who I hadn't counted on or hadn't even been in deep relationship with have been reaching out, and there's been these connections that have just been treasure, that I never would have guessed that I would find that in my family.
Right.
Because of the stories I had in my head and the old stories that had been would have had led me to believe that just wasn't possible with them this lifetime.
Absolutely.
I
got a couple of comments I want to share. The first is from Queen Noor saying, "Greeting, Queens. Thank you for being present and sharing your gifts." Thank you for tuning in, Queen Noor.
Yes, thank you.
Love it. And then also Tracy Montgomery says, "Hello, Jojo Pa." And then she said that she didn't have any audio on her end. So Tracy, I hope that, I don't know, Facebook is getting weird and they'd be messing with stuff. So just know you can jump onto YouTube and find this live stream. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
But what you're saying about the grief piece, I think is really, really powerful and important, because this year, this mineral year, which is all about connections and purpose, and new connections and expanded purpose, it's so important that we stay conscious of the fact that we really are releasing what can no longer serve us.
Yeah.
And some of that is this belief in suffering and pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
and not even knowing
that,
not even knowing what that looks like, I think it's because it's become normal to us.
Yes.
And it's just so, like, it's so interesting to experience things, to start opening up to something new, because at the same time that there's this big grief, there is this excitement and joy. There's lots showing up in the expansion, but it's like, to open up to that, you have to let go of some of the other things that, and them, and they, you know, a lot of times I don't want to let go of certain things, right? Like, so even in
Absolutely.
my, because it's familiar often,
Hmm.
but you have to make room for what's coming in. Someone asked me about something today, and my response to them was, well, you know, maybe, but not like right now. I'm still needing to release. I don't, like, there's no room for some of what's trying to come in to come in. And
Exactly.
um and I'm making room, right? Like I'm consciously making room, trying to release and also build foundation to support. Like, what supports what we say we want?
Absolutely.
You know, and the other thing,
Absolutely.
the one of the things that I think is so important, and I just grow more and more in this, and really getting how important our peers and our elders are. The people in your life who will tell you the truth. You know, because one of the things that that so often, like, we can't like, we think it's true, you know, and we hear so much about following our own intuition,
Hmm.
but oftentimes when you've been through trauma, there's a wounded instinct in us. And so even if you think of your intuition as the arrow and the bow is your instinct, if your instinct is off, even if you're listening to your intuition, your shot's going to be off. And so who
Hmm.
are the people who can help inform that as we're healing? Who do we
Hmm.
trust? You know,
Hmm.
we think so much in this world around this independence, that this myth of independence, that we can do it all by ourselves, but we can't. We are always dependent with each other. We're drinking the same water, breathing the same air, walking the same earth. It's just a matter of whether we're codependent or interdependent. If we're standing in scarcity and lack, it's codependence. If we're standing in love and abundance, it's interdependence. And we
Right.
get to be individuals, we just don't get to be independent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to go back to this comment by Angie Fensky, because I think it's really an important part of this too, about grieving what could not be.
Yes.
And again, that's something too that it's easy for us to stay stuck in.
Yes.
And that's why this notion about believe, using that imagination to really begin to call up into being
Yes.
what it is now. And even if you don't know exactly what it is, just giving yourself permission to believe
Yeah.
that something more is coming is really, really important. And
Yes.
you know, Juanita, recently you had a gathering of elders from how many different continents? I
So
think
we
five
actually ended
continents.
up 4 different continents. We had people who showed up and that I would consider elders, and it just was so beautiful to be able to be together from these different backgrounds. You know, one of the questions that I carried in my invitation for them is 2 things. Number 1 is, what changes in us by being together? You know, we all have our own kind of places and people that we're loving and that are loving us and that we're caring for and that are caring for us. And something changes in us just by knowing each other. And so I had that question, you know, I often say I go giant hunting, looking for people who know that they're giants and can hold me in that way. And so that was the first thing. And the second piece was rest. It was, you know, it's so easy to be in our communities and holding lots of people and thinking that we can't rest, that we can't stop, that
Mhm.
that we're responsible, solely responsible. I think we forget sometimes that we're not God. And that if someone's supposed to have something and we can't show up, someone will be sent. And that we don't have to figure that out always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got another comment about the grieving what could not be, putting some emphasis
Yeah.
on that. Also want to do a shout out to Queen Anika. Hey,
Anika.
Nika, thanks for being here.
Yes. And Tracy, or Teresa, who actually is here in Cincinnati. And I just want to send a shout out to you. I haven't seen you in a minute, you know.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So,
And this bringing together that you did, this, creating that space, I think that also gets into the believing, the healing,
yeah.
the moving forward from the inside out,
Yes.
like really being able to, Teresa gives you some hearts, to really being able, to give ourselves kind of a pause.
Yes.
Like it seems to me that you were gathering these wonderful elders, even someone from New Zealand,
Yes.
together to really, give pause and just really open up without doing, but just in being,
Yeah.
because we often, right, when we think about them, bring people together, it's like,
Yeah.
we're going to do something,
Yes.
I was
And they were really confused, I think, at times by me too, because they're like, where's the agenda and stuff? And I said, we're gonna check in with each other in the morning. And then we're going to have, you get to tend to yourself. You get to have conversations with each other. You get to take a nap if you want to. You get to, it was freaking hot. But you get to go in the hot tub if you want to, that the time was for us to take care of ourselves and then to come back together, and say, okay, so what's bubbling up for you now? And just connect and share and be held, and meet each other for the first time. So many of us hadn't known each other. There was a couple of people who, maybe about half the group, who I hadn't met in person until we showed up there.
Right.
And so, starting to know and share, like, what was the medicine that we had for each other. And one of the things that I said to them too is, we're not here to teach each other. We're not responsible for each other. We're just here to be here and rest and be together and be held by the space and the land and the people. The cooks were amazing. They really took care of us. And it matters, like, to be supported in those kinds of ways so that you don't have to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's again, we're reflecting on this first 6 months of January, and what you have been able to achieve and the way you've been able to achieve it. And while holding this consciousness about, we're in this period of letting go, of releasing. As you think about coming into July 1st, tomorrow, into the next 6 months, the next 2 quarters of this year, please share, like, what's coming up for you based on, again, what you've experienced so far.
Yeah, one of the things that's coming up for me is actually more discernment. For myself, like I said, it's hard to watch people who we love and care about choose not to step into their healing, at least not to step into their healing in the ways that we think are visible, I guess, but or in the ways that are in alignment with where we are in our journey. And so for me, some of it is, where is it that I need to change my story about what's, where I'm required to be and how I'm required to hold people and when I'm required to hold people. I often say that as I grow in compassion, but less in intolerance. Like I totally get why people are in places that they are, and I just can't be in it with them anymore.
Hmm.
And how that really is loving.
Yeah,
I think that that so often we're tending to people because it serves us and not because it really serves them,
right,
you
right.
know? And
Absolutely.
and so this piece of really getting that um maybe it's what love really feels like, you know? Maybe it's that and not that things, being human isn't always easy. It has challenges and stuff. But one of the things that I learned a long time ago is the external should be easy. The internal can be hard. If the external is hard, it's because the internal wants to heal in places. So where can when I'm struggling in the external, where is it that I need to ask myself, like, what's trying to be healed in me? What wants to be released now? What am I grieving? What am I ready to release? Um, Even if I don't quite know it yet. And the tears for me, I think so often we think we have to know what we're grieving in the moment, and we can spend a lot of time and energy in knowing, but I don't have to know to let something go. I just let it go. My prayer often when the tears come up and when I start grieving is, please help me not to block this.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I just love that, you're taking this notion of releasing into discernment,
Yeah.
that, now I get
Yeah.
to set my boundaries
Yeah.
so that I can be even more grounded in my self mastery.
Yes.
I had a conversation with someone I was coaching yesterday about, our real goal is personal sovereignty.
Yeah.
And personal sovereignty is where I now take full ownership, full responsibility for how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I'm believing, that
Yes.
I'm no longer going to make it be about what somebody else is doing or not doing.
Yeah.
I'm able to accept the evolutionary teachers in my life and to realize that I get to choose.
Yes.
Um, as I have said, self mastery to me is really important, especially to Black people in America and the diaspora. Even people have been colonized, and even people went through
Yeah.
immigration, because especially when I talk about chattel slavery, for 400 years, it's like you've been conditioned to believe that you had a master, and it
Yeah.
wasn't you. You weren't the master of yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody else was your master.
Yes.
So learning this
Yeah.
self-mastery is critical
Yes.
to moving, evolving, and going beyond all of that past pain that
Yes.
it's so easy to be stuck in.
Yes. I was on a call a couple days ago, and one of the questions that was something about like what does freedom, it was something around what freedom looked like for you, or what do you need, what were the conditions that you needed for your freedom or for your own freedom. And I was listening to the answers in the circle and even my answer, and the question was asked by a white woman, actually. And one of the things that came to me that I asked and that I'm still sitting with is, this piece of like, how do you know it's freedom? So often in history, what we've seen is freedom for white people meant bondage for others. And so again, who's helping to inform us? Who do we trust? Who are we listening to? Like what, um, again, we are individuals, but we're not independent. And so, the community can help inform so much of my journey and has. I mean, you're saying like we've known each other for over 20 years, right? And you've seen me, like, I've asked you all kinds of questions. Okay, tell me. I'll tell you. Like, don't let me fall into this hole, right? You know. And but it matters to have those people in your life. And the other thing that you spoke about that comes up for me is the difference, knowing the difference between walls and boundaries.
Yes.
You know, because a
Yes.
wall not only shuts people out, but shuts us in. And a boundary is permeable. So when the conditions are met, it can be crossed.
Absolutely.
So it's not a wall. And so but I think so often we get confused. We think we put up a wall and we think that's a boundary.
Right.
You
Right.
know, but there's no way for the conditions to be met for anybody to cross it. So, you know, that's a wall.
Yeah, because, even discernment is about staying in relationship. And it's just doing it from, I love, like you said, it's really a loving perspective.
Yes.
Why would I want to make someone who's not ready to go to the next level, to go beyond? Why would I want to make them or judge them for that decision of themselves?
Yes.
I just need to be clear.
Yes.
I'm believing, I'm healing, I'm moving forward inside out, I'm living on purpose, and I'm going beyond.
Yes.
And if you ain't ready for that, that's okay, but I am.
Yes.
And so I got to put my time and energy with like-minded folks in regards to that.
Yeah.
I can't be trying to get somebody to do something they really ain't ready for, or maybe will never be ready for. I'm not trying to figure out people's journey.
It's not kind.
Exactly.
Because energetically they can feel that they're not ready. And so it actually reinforces that belief in them that they're not worthy. You know?
Powerful.
And, because so often we hold people because we want them to be where we want them to be. And it's almost like we pretend with them. And not that you have to be mean to anybody or anything like that, but for us to know, like, for me to know, like, I can go here with you, but I can't go here with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, as we are starting to wind down, I would like to give you the opportunity to share some closing comments with our wisdom walkers out there. How and what can you do to help them be able to really open up to all of the wonderful, unknown, mysterious things that are coming for the next 6 months?
Well, I think one of the things is I love that believe, what are some of the things that you've just assumed were true? There was a young woman who came to the peace pole rededication with the elders. And one of the things she said is she's questioning everything. And I love that. She's like, things that she's just assumed had to be that way. And so she's just asking herself that question. And I think, my invitation is be playful. Like, notice where you have a belief system, whether you think it's a good one or not, and ask yourself, do you really still believe that? Is that still true? Or if it wasn't true, what could it offer you? Because I think the universe wants to prove us right. I think it wants to prove our belief systems, conscious and unconscious belief systems. And so it shows up in the experiences that we have. And one of the things I've learned from Jojo Pa is the question of really getting that the world is out to gift you and not to get you. And so the question changes from why is this happening for me instead of why is this happening to me? And it changes everything. And look for treasure. I often will tell people that I have this belief system that when I do good work, I always get a gift. And so it shows up because the universe wants to prove me right. And they come from all different kinds of places. What are the belief systems that you want to step into? What is that you want to invite into your life? I love, James Hillman says that if we can't imagine it, we can't even have a feeling around it. And so what are the things that you are going to let yourself to imagine and play with and dream? I'll just say one more thing on that, because one of my best teachers on this has been my niece, Evelyn. I was at her house a while ago and we were playing and she's just being silly and I was having lots of fun with her. And she says to me, sing me a cat song. And I said, I don't know any cat songs. And so she made up a cat song right then and there. And later I thought, when did I stop making up cat songs? And just this invitation into, oh my goodness, what have I let go of that I'm not even conscious that I've let go of? And so, I just want to invite you to, take the lesson from Evelyn and make up some cat songs, imagine some things, play a bit more.
Ashe, ashe. Thank you so much. I'll turn that into a short and get it out there.
Yeah.
All the interviews. Yeah. Q, I want to start off just thanking you and also give a shout out to Queen Adara and Queen Noor for coming on to Wisdom Walk Talk and being such lights, shining lights for the audience. Over these past couple of weeks. It's just been thrilling for me and so grateful, and just a great opportunity to see how much things have expanded in my broadcasting, multicasting work, to be able to have you all come on and just be so magnificent. So I am going to close out, as I always do, folks, with, of course, first giving a big shout out to my wonderful engineer, Miss Yvette Parker, and the entire Black Hole Radio Be Well family for their continued support of my work, for giving me this platform. Also to all my regular listeners and watchers out there, those of you who have Wisdom Walk with me and you know who you are, to my family on both coasts and in the middle of the country, to my spiritual kin everywhere, my transformational leadership colleagues, my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, and those who may be listening or watching for the first time, thank you. Big thank you. I couldn't do this without your loving support and caring and interest of wanting to self-master and get to that personal sovereignty. Now, for those of you who are listening through the Black Hole Radio, please know that you can access the videos for July's Elemental Wisdom coming up. I'll get that out tomorrow. I'll live stream it tomorrow, as well as my Astrology for Self-Mastery, which I didn't get a chance to do in May, but it will return for June, but it will return for July. I think I did miss one in May too. I needed the break though, so I'm good for that. Also want you to know that you can, leave questions and comments on my Facebook page, my Wisdom Walk community, which is a Facebook community, Facebook group, Wisdom Walk Community. And of course, if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, you'll get notifications that way. Now, my next live multicast won't be until Sunday, August the 4th and 11th. Same that time, same that channel. Because in July, as I do annually, it will be my rebroadcast and restreaming of The Best Of. Yeah. And I also want to give a shout out to Quanita's book that she co-wrote with Amy Houghton, The Inner Ground Railroad. Quanita, what would you like to say about that beautiful, beautiful book of yours?
I think what I would say is, it continues to teach me, and it was designed so we could go back through it time and time again and get deeper and deeper layers, and that the book was designed to help us all find our freedom. And so no matter who you are, bondage is bondage. And so the steps are the same. One of the things I love about the book is that we did it through an African-American lens. And there was conversation, because I was co-writing it with a white woman, whether we would change some of the activities and stuff. And it was purposeful, because we always, in some ways, to heal that wound, it's have the tables turned a bit. We are constantly translating. And so the fact that in this process, they have to translate to get the medicine. I think, we made an intentional choice of that.
Shay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I also want to shout out to Queen Reverend Adara's Heart for Healing service. It'll be on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. It's absolutely free, and you can access it through her website, which is https://spiritismylife.com, and you click on events. Of course, I also want to do a shout out to my book, The Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain, still available. Like Q's book is online, Amazon, Kindle, Walmart, and so forth. And Q, I apologize, I didn't get to put a notice up about your website, but please do share with folks how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, you can reach out to our website. It's www.nzuzu.com, and it shares about the events that we have coming up. It shares about, I have a 16-month leadership rites of passage cohort for adults, and that applications open up in August. It's where you can find us and where you can sign up for our mailing list.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, as always, I am going to close out by thanking my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. And once again, please have a very safe, healthy, and happy water week. Juanita's a water person, if you didn't figure that out yet. Your week is coming up, releasing what can no longer support this next new journey. Of course, continue to wear your mask and be vigilant to the fact that COVID ain't gone nowhere. It just went to sleep for a little bit, but I hear there's another strain walking around. So use your common sense, practice science, safety, safe relating, wash those hands frequently, all the good stuff that you know to do to keep yourself healthy and strong. And most importantly, folks, as always, please, please remember that you are not disposable. Why is that? Simply because you are divine. Good night now. Thank you, Q.
Thank you, Jennifer.